Welcome back. Today I'm going to be filming a bridal look, so mixing it up a little bit. I've got the lovely Julia as my model today. We're going to go for a bit of a beach theme, seeing as we live about 100 meters from the beach, which is like just over there. So yeah, keep watching. It's going to be very glowy, dewy skin. I'm not really going to talk through the products so much as how I use them, placement, what I sort of aim for when I'm doing bridal, and yeah, hopefully you learn a thing or two from it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe. Come on, let's get past 10 subscribers, shall we? Alright, I hope you guys enjoy it, and yeah, here we go. On your face. So this is a glow tonic from Beachy. I'm just going to really work to make sure we're taking off any dead skin that might be flaking on top. You've got quite dry skin, don't you, Julia? Mm-hmm. So we're really going to work on building that glow and the dewiness. Let's go for that Meghan Markle glow.
Fine with
Although
me.
she's probably done like a year of like intensive like skin treatments and she's got a lot of money.
You know how well I look after my skin.
I do. I'd like to change that. Weleda skin food. This stuff is the fucking bomb. I'm just going to mix that in with a little bit of the Enquiries creme lait concentrate, because the Weleda skin food's quite thick, so the Enquiries is going to sort of make it so that it's a bit more workable into the skin. You're like, oh my god, that's going on my face? That's scary.
I trust you.
Yeah. We're going to let it sort of soak in and build up that. So I'm using my fingers, which I find the best for moisturiser. And I mean, it gives my skin a bit of a moisturiser on my hands as well, so 2 birds, 1 stone. What, do you use moisturiser every day? At all? Ever?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, mate.
Bit of oil of Olay.
Oh no, we've got to fix it. I mean, it's your skin, your life. I'm not about to like tell you how to live it, but
my skin drinks it.
yeah, it wants it. It just is like, I can just tell from the texture of it. It's like screaming out for like moisture.
I feel like it gives me pimples though.
But you're probably just using the wrong one.
Okay.
Just while we let that soak in, just look up for me. I'm going to do the eye makeup first, and to sort of save on a bit of drop down and to hydrate the under eye area. Using a gel eye patch. These are the Petite Fille Gold Hydra Gel. Do they feel weird?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see yourself? Shiny under eyes. Yeah, it's a good place to be. If they feel uncomfortable at all, just let me know. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to do the eyes first, and then we'll sort of come back and do the skin, because we want the skin to be super clean and fresh and all that. I'm going to prime, because with bridal we want it to last for as long as humanly possible. So any kind of eye primer. This is the Urban Decay one. I'm just putting on a sort of beige skin coloured powder over the top, just to set the primer that we put on and create a nice smooth base for us to work with. Okay, so with bridal, you've got a couple of options. You can either go for the really traditional, just close for me, Julia. You can either go for really traditional, where you've got dark at the outer here, and then you're fading into that lighter colour. I'm not generally like a fan of that, but I'm going to do a more modern, updated version of that. You can go for the smokier look, which is really dark at the lashes and sort of blends out from there. Or you can go for more of like the halo haze of colour. I'm going to go mix between the haze of colour, a wash, and then keeping it a little bit darker here, but trying to keep it really modern, and not sort of going for that traditional vibe. I'm going to start to build some colour. I've got a mid-toned matte brown eyeshadow. I'm just going to make sure that I'm lifting up on the brow so that I'm getting access to the full lid. So the traditional bridal eye shape would be just keeping the darkness right out here, but I'm bringing it across in sort of a sweeping motion. So I'm keeping this area free of colour, but I am concentrating it more on the outer corner. And we don't want to go for anything too shimmery or crazy. keeping everything really blended as you go. I'm going to go in with a slightly darker colour, just again a matte brown shadow. We're going a little bit deeper. I'm just going to concentrate that along the lashes and ever so slightly winging it out. Up into that mid-toned brown before, so we've got a nice gradient of colour going on. I'm going to take taking a slightly warmer toned, mid-toned brown, warmer than the one we did first, and then this colour is just going to come through the crease. Just open for me. So yeah, Julie's got quite hooded eyes. So when her eyes are open and you're looking straight ahead, similar to mine as well, you don't necessarily see a lot of the lid. So it's really good to check placement of colour with eyes open so that you can get an idea of where it's going. And you want it to be able to be seen when the eyes are open as well. So just close for me. So start to place colour with the eyes closed. And then open, and then that's where you're going to blend out and make sure that you're getting colour where you want it. I've got a metallic, slightly shimmery, bronzy colour. Putting a really small amount of that. Focusing on that inner corner and taking it out just a little. This should be really subtle. Kohl eyeliner, and this is a Marc Jacobs one, and just with Julie's eyes closed I'm just going to smudge a little along the lash line. We're not going for a solid line here, it's really just about creating some definition. And then I'm going to go in with a really short blending brush and blend that out, so it shouldn't be a detectable line. It's just about creating depth of colour right at the lashes is what we're looking for. And do the same on the other eye. And with the same liner, just get you to look up for me. I'm going to attempt to do waterline or tight line. Done. Uncomfortable.
Fine.
Really good. Just going to clean up underneath with a Q-tip a little bit. I will do the under eye, but once I've done this rest of the skin. Just going to come in with that same really warm colour that I used before, just close. Just take a little more just over that black, just to make it even more subtle. So with bridal makeup, the biggest, most important thing I think is using not much product, strategically placing it in thin layers and then building up as you go, because you can always add more, but it's really hard to take away. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So our eye gels are coming off. You should be feeling really moisturised and plump under here now, and we've kept the area mostly clean, which was the purpose. Just a little bit of rose water on a cotton pad, just cleaning up any sort of potential fall down that was there. And we're going to get started on skin. So going for pretty light coverage here, I'm going to use a combination of MAC Face and Body in the colour, what have I got, N1. And I'm adding, because we're going to bronze you up a little bit, adding a little bit of the Ordinary's, here we are, Serum Foundation in 21Y. This stuff is super dewy. The MAC Face and Body is really dewy. It's slightly more buildable than the Ordinary one, which is why I'm using a little bit of both. But MAC Face and Body is probably my go-to foundation for any job, really. If someone's got really oily skin, I'll tend to like steer away from it for a wedding. But I tend to think that like rather than going in with like the full coverage foundation, that isn't going to wear very well, because full coverage doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to last longer. Use thinner layers of light coverage product, build it up where you need it. It's going to wear better throughout the day, because you don't want to just look good for your photos or just look good for the ceremony. You want to look the best that you can throughout the whole day. So I tend to go for something a bit lighter, like a Face and Body, that helps maintain that glow without having to add it back in with, you know, tons of illuminators, and it's going to wear better, and you'll feel like it's your skin. Yeah, you can already see here it's quite a nice finish, maintaining that glow on Julia's really dry skin. Desert face. I'm totally joking.
Been called many things, but never been called desert face.
That's the wrong one. You need to moisturise.
I know.
Your face. It's like so important. So important. But yeah, using a stippling motion, either with a stippling brush or a brush like this one, which is a flat top kabuki. This one's a bedelum one. Again, just building that glow. This is a luminizer from RMS. I am going to use a powder highlight as well, because without that glow, this is a cream highlighter, luminizer, and we can start to build that. Alright, I'm going to do some brows. I'm going to use a powder brow today and a brow gel, I think. God, I always leave such large gaps between my words when I'm talking and doing things at the same time. I'm like, I'm going to do a da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. Idiot. So this is a matte taupe. And you don't want a crazy brow on your wedding day. Brow gel. Ironically, this is called brow drama. I'm going to do a little bit of concealing. A really creamy concealer from the Ben Nye palette. Usually a small little liner brush. And I'm just going to go on any areas where we've got some blemishes. I tend to put the product on first, tiniest amount of product. If you've got a light coverage foundation, really all you need to go in and do is cover up any areas that need a little more help. And then what I tend to do is just tap it out with my finger. taking a really small amount of that same concealer. Just look up and I'm just going to take that under the eye. I'm not a fan of super concealed, you know, paler than the rest of your face. Blended in is what we want. Alright, I'm going to set that under eye concealer just with a really small amount of a powder. I've loaded up my brush and then I'm just taking most of it off on the back of my hand. Just look up for me. And then I'm just going to come in and just use the tiniest amount to set under here, because when you're dealing with someone who has got dry skin, you don't want to dry it out too much, but you just want to take that sheen off and make sure that the concealing work that you've done is going to stay in place. Just going to set around the nose. Where I'm going to come in with some bronzer, I'm just going to put a little bit there, but I'm not taking away this glow that I've put on the top of the cheekbone. There's no point working hard to build up glow if you're just going to take it away with like tons of cakey powder. I've got a matte bronzer. We don't want to go for a full sort of contoured look, so we're going to keep it towards the top of this area. We're not coming into that hollow there, and we're just going to use a very small amount of product to start to build up the colour and the glow. Just taking whatever's left on my brush down.
Giving me a chin.
You've got a chin. I can fully see your chin up here. I promise you. Again, I'm doing that thing where I put it on the brush and then I'm taking the majority of it off. So we're building it up in thin layers, working to sort of blend it in with that illuminizer that we put on there. That was the cream. Just to intensify that highlighter or illuminizer we put on before, I've just got that powder brush I had before, and I'm just taking a little bit of MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Soft and Gentle. Also just going to take a little bit of that same illuminizer and just put that in the very inner corner of the eyes. I'm just going to add a bit of definition under the eyes. I've got that really warm matte brown shade on a pencil brush. Just taking a slightly darker brown. Short little blending brush just to get everything worked in. Just going to go for a really neutral toned blush. Mascara. So I've got a few, what are these? Knot free flares. So they're like little groups of lashes. Good, haven't used that in a while. Just putting a bit of the Duo lash glue on the back of my hand, or am I? So I've just got medium, put a really small amount of glue on the end of the lash. gonna finish up with a lip. I'm gonna go for a slightly barely detectable metallic lip. We're not really doing much. We're not gonna worry about ironing. Lipstick comes off. A bit more mascara, slightly more intense one, just to blend in.